I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not, said the famous singer, songwriter, and voice of the 90s, Kurt Cobain. Most say that Kurt Cobain changed the meaning and purpose of music. Today, you're all going to learn about the pain, hardships, stress, and love for music that Kurt Cobain experienced throughout his life. I'm going to introduce you to Cobain as a young child, the makings of one of the best bands in history, and his tragic death. Kurt Donald Cobain was born on February 20th, 1967 in Aberdeen, Washington. His mother, Wendy Elizabeth, was a waitress, and his father, Donald Leland Cobain, was an automotive mechanic. Kurt started singing at 2 years old and at 4 started playing the piano. He wrote his first song about a trip to the local park. Throughout his childhood, bands that inspired him included the Ramones and the Beatles. By 15, Cobain received his first guitar and taught himself how to play. After Cobain's parents divorced, he went through a rebellious teenage stage, which included the renouncing of Christianity and engaging in anti-God rants. Later on, he dropped out of high school during his senior year because he was bullied for choosing music and art over sports and lived on his own after that. Usually, he hung around at rehearsals of the local band, the Melvins, where he met Chris Novoselic. The two decided to start their very own punk rock band emerging from the grunge movement of the early 80s. During its initial months, the band went through names such as Skid Row, Penchop, Choose, Bliss, and Ted Ed Fred. The band name, Nirvana, is taken from the Buddhist religion meaning freedom from pain, suffering, and the external world, which paralleled with the punk rock ethic and ideology, which was exactly what Cobain wanted out of life. Cobain came up with the basic components of each song and wrote every lyric. Usually, he wrote them with only the help of his acoustic guitar. Before too long, Cobain became the face and icon of alternative rock. Once their lead single, Smells Like Teen Spirit, entered the mainstream, Nirvana was exposed, and since their debut, they have sold over 25 million albums in the U.S. alone. Kurt Cobain used his fame to advocate for the rights of women, gays, and other minorities and teen misfits like himself. In the late 1980s, Cobain developed a heroin addiction which intensified once he fell in love with Courtney Love, who was also an alternative rocker. On February 24, 1992, Cobain married Courtney Love, who later carried his daughter, Frances Bean Cobain. In March of 1994, Cobain overdosed and lay in a coma for 20 hours. He went through a series of detoxes and interventions and later checked into Exodus Recovery Center. Cobain's admission of his drug use resulted in the battle for custody of his and Courtney Love's daughter. Within 1 day of checking into the recovery center, Cobain went missing for a week, and before being found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot to the head, Kurt Cobain was announced dead on April 5, 1994, leaving America heartbroken. Cobain lived a short, sorrowful life whilst almost single-handedly changing the musical and cultural landscape of the 1990s. Music today would not be the same without Kurt Cobain's ideas of his own nirvana and changing society with his powerful voice. Although he hated the notion of being dubbed the voice of a generation, he became a voice not only for the generation but many to come and the world to hear.
Woo!